Welcome to the corner of oil, gas, and technology. This is episode 7 of the Oil and Gas Young Professionals podcast. I'm your host, James Gordy. In this episode, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to have a solo episode, and I'm going to give you some tips on productivity and how to start off your new job, career, or internship on the right foot. Okay, so the first one is the first few weeks of your job, your new job, or just whatever, try showing up early. So this, there's a lot of variables that you don't know because when you do the same thing every morning, like you go to school or you go to work at your current job or position, you know the landscape of your commute, be it walking or driving, you know your morning routine, you've got everything down. But in a new job, you've got a new time you got to set your alarm for, you got a new commute, you got a new system to get into your building, new morning breakfast routine. Everything's kind of different. So wake up a little bit earlier, get that coffee in your system, get all your creative juices flowing, and show up early. That way you don't have to stress about showing up late or making the wrong first impression at your new job. Okay, and then one thing I really like to recommend, and this is what I always do at my jobs when I move around or if I'm dealing with new people, is I arrange a sit down with my supervisor, your boss, your manager, whoever it might be, and ask them very direct questions. What do you expect of me? Be very honest. What skills do I need here to excel? And if they tell you that you need something, you have to actually, take it upon yourself, self-learning to go above and beyond to make sure that you can get up to speed on those new skills. Be honest with yourself. They're going to try and be honest with you, and this can only help you in the long run in your new job. And then the reason that you do this, not only to just have a clear idea of what's going on, is you show your boss or your direct report that you're serious about your career. You have short-term and long-term goals, and you personally are taking command of your job and your future because you're very serious and you're going places. Okay, so this is the Young Professional Show, so a lot of people listening either are unfamiliar with work life or they're coming from college. So basically, once you go post-grad and you're in a very serious work environment, the universal form of communication in the workplace and in your career is going to be emails. There might be LinkedIn and all these other things, but email is the main one. Be it your Gmail or your Apple Mac account, or most people, it's going to be Outlook on their work computer. And email can be very difficult to deal with. It's really a big, it's a pain, and a lot of people struggle with it. So one thing that I use is it's a system called Getting Things Done. It's a book by David Allen, and it's just based on stress-free productivity. You never have to remember things, and you just put it in a system. You only deal with emails once. And so what that looks like for me is in both my work and personal email, I get well over 100 a day. And if I can deal with it in less than 2 minutes, I do it right there. So if you hit me up after the show and you're trying to connect or you just want to talk to me about something, maybe I can help you with anything. If I can do it in less than 2 minutes, I will. You'll see me either I'll respond to your email right away or I'll put it in my calendar to check out and do later. And what that does is you never have to remember anything, and also you can track in your system, tag everything with when you need to do it and who it's related with, if you do it at work, if it's an errand, anything like that. So there's a free website called thesecretweapon.org that walks you through all of this. That's thesecretweapon.org, and you can find that in the show notes, jamesgordy.com/OGYP7. And also, if you have any questions or if that sounds too good to be true, hit me up. All of my contact information, either you know by now or you can find in the show notes. Okay, so once you have mastered the communication and you have a way to get down all the things that you need to take in, because it's going to be a lot to handle in your new job, drinking from the fire hose, I would say that ask for more. Ask questions and be hungry when you show up to work on day one and in the first few days. This is something I'm always doing, continuous learning. If there's a long-term goal that I'm trying to meet, or I know that I need to get a skill, I write that down and I start doing that in my free time, learning, or if there's anything I'm curious about. Just whatever you have to do to differentiate yourself and get all the things you need to do to meet your long-term career goals. Okay, so this is one that I can't stress enough, this next one. be curious about other people's jobs and their lives. So ask somebody what they do on a day-to-day basis. If you have some free time at work, sit down and see if, people love talking about themselves. So I'm sure they'd walk you through their role and things they struggle with. And also by understanding what they do, it'll help you to, figure out what makes their life easier and how to get what you need from them later on to make everything work more smoothly. Also, around the water cooler, ask about their family, their weekend plans, how their kids' sports games went. If they took a trip and you know it, you can keep notes on all these things. So that way you always go back and people know that you actually care about them. And that really goes a long way connecting on a personal level outside of work. So take an interest in people's lives. And another tangent off of this would be internal networking, especially if you're at a big company. What you can do is set up calls or maybe networking coffees and just ask people. You can be honest with them and get some mentors. But especially at big companies, internal networking is a big thing you can do. So when the next role comes up, people will have you in mind and they'll know who you are, and a lot of people can vouch for you, and you have a much stronger chance at getting that job. Okay, so the last one I'm going to talk about here is care about and ask if you can help solve your coworkers' problems. This comes from sales, but this is transferable to anything. Once you're settled in at your job and you know what people struggle with and what they do in their day-to-day life, you can really build up those, familiarity with people. And once you have everything in order and you're not trying to run around like crazy answering emails and everything, if you really, you're doing everything you need to do, you can start to take on more. And maybe help them with some things that they're struggling with, and talk about their problems, personal and in the workplace. And that people will really start to see you as an asset and a resource. And they'll also see that you care about, helping them out. And when you need something in the future, you can definitely get it. So those are kind of my, productivity tips and how to start your career on the right foot. Take command of your career and be hungry. Okay, so everyone was probably busy, with their families and celebrating Memorial Day holiday, as we should, remembering our troops and everything they've done for the country. So, I was on the lake in Austin, and I wasn't thinking about giving reviews to a podcast. So we didn't get any reviews, but that's totally fine. I appreciate it. I know that y'all are all listening because, here in our first month, we got well over 1,000 downloads, which is really impressive. And it's also very encouraging to me to just keep putting this out for you. So what I'm going to ask you to do is go to jamesgordy.com/review and just leave me a review in the show. And that's really the best way to let me know how you feel about everything. And also it helps drive me up the search ranking so more people can find this and get it in their earbuds. So on the website, on the blog post, jamesgordy.com/OGYP7 or any of the other ones, we have share buttons. And those are automatically catered. If you're on a desktop, they're going to be on the left. And if they are on your phone, they're going to be on the bottom screen and they'll pop up. And those automatically see what social media you like the most. So if you're on LinkedIn or Twitter the most, those will pop up in the beginning. And they're automatic share buttons. And that's a great way to let everyone who follows you in your network to find the show as well. And that can really help, grow it. And then these days we're on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. So anywhere you might be listening to this, also on YouTube, you can find the show. And like we talked about earlier, I really do like hearing from everyone. I have had people reach out to me personally. So please do hit me up. You can find my contact info on my website. Email, LinkedIn, Twitter. I even added the Snapchat in the last one because I know if you're like me, we're basically on Snapchat and Instagram more than we are on Facebook or anything like that. So I try to stay active everywhere. So hit me up. This shows come out every Wednesday morning at 7. So, until next week, guys, I appreciate you listening. And we'll go back to our more normal format next time.